Second unit defense out, Brill and Schmier out on defense, and Jun Lee, the goal scorer from the first period, is out doing a little penalty kill time too. And with some speed into the zone, Team Red, we've got Hudson Gran, and Gran having an impact early in the first period too, showcasing some of that speed that's made him so impressive in the Regina leagues. And Gran unable to pick that puck up in the behind the net, and he's still battling for it, but Schmier able to work that puck into the corner, and we're coming to the end of the first power play of the game. Puck centered, shot blocked in front, shot blocked again. Team Gray doing their goalie proud and solid favor, keeping that puck out, and Red able to turn around and work right straight back in again. Drennan Blair, who also had a strong period in that first, and that puck with the wraparound attempt, but it was picked up quickly and snuffed out. But Red, with a little bit of momentum here to start that second period with that shot around, and that puck picked up, played well by Gray's goaltender Michael Paulinski. And the puck now in front. Red with a couple of opportunities, and you just can't get their stick in the slot area. Schmier tying up that puck, and that puck cleared by Gray, and we'll see it roll all the way down on end, and this is probably going to go for icing. And that brings us to the first major stop. Ritchie Brothers, when it comes to buying and selling heavy equipment, Ritchie Brothers is the name you can trust. As a global leader in industrial auctions, they connect buyers and sellers with unmatched service and reach. Ritchie Brothers, powering big moves on and off the rink. Red with the face-off now in the Gray zone. And the first period saw a lot of Gray action with the forecheck. And maybe one of the adjustments Red's made is just not allowing Gray now to get any kind of momentum to get in there. It's hard to forecheck when you can't even get it out of your own zone. Red doing a good job here in the first 5 minutes to keep that puck in play. And number 17 looks like strong move by Carson Lamotte. He's a big frame player from the Foothills Bisons League, playing out of Milo, Alberta. And Lamotte, we're going to be watching him starting to assert some dominance, and that puck put on net and swallowed up by Michael Paulinski. But it's been all Red here to start this second period, probably much to the relief of Coach Connor Middleton of the U14 Prairie Hockey Academy. Once again, they're being assisted on the bench by Ambassador Shane Smith of the Lethbridge Hurricanes. And whatever they said in the dressing room, Red has picked that up, and they are playing like a different team here in the second period. These kids have been playing elite hockey for a number of years here, and so a bounce back quite possible here. These guys know what they're doing. Remember, we're still building team chemistry. This is the first game of a weekend, and these players just getting to know each other yesterday in the introductions. And we're starting to see Red with some confidence, and that breakout looking a lot better than it did in the first period. And now Strain down the board, and this line, Hubick, Strain, and Boston Unser. A little bit of forecheck pressure there, and really solid play from the defender from Gray. Look at that, a number there, Markowski again, of course, one of those big, solid, Gray defenders that were able to get there. And now Gray back on the offensive, and this is what the first period looked like. Good shot on net there, and a solid save from Thiel. That puck remaining in the zone. Gray putting on that forecheck pressure again that resulted in those goals. All three goals coming from sustained pressure. And that puck dangerous coming off the stick, but Thiel with the concentration, he's able to stop that and force the face-off. Boston Pizza at UMH-68, we're grateful for their incredible support. Not only are they fueling our players with meals at the banquet, they're also keeping our coaches energized with lunch during the event. And the face-off, we're going to give that one to Team Red because they're carrying it out. Up the boards comes Drennan Blair, and the puck now on the stick of Cohen Kershane. That puck in set, and it's just steered wide. Red starting to get some offense generated, and that was Quinn Partington right on the doorstep. Not quite able to get that, but that was a dangerous opportunity, and I'd say that Team Red's had more of the offensive push here, and we're seeing more of the same. Good turnaround. That puck centered, but it's swatted aside. And it looked like Blake Olesko, and he gets his team rallied again. And coming up now, Gray with a hard shot. Great save again by Thiel, and it caroms off into the corner and comes out. And that puck now as the Team Gray checking up on the offside and making the line change and wheeling around, looking for that long place. Beautiful stretch pass. And now Kershane again. Kershane's starting to find his legs. He's a presence there on the ice. Big frame kid. And both 16s having the impact. Once again, 16 from Gray, Jacoby Cardinal. He already has a goal and assist in this game. And Kershane pulling that puck up. And we'll watch that matchup as the day goes along. And again, Thiel having to be mindful. Gray just putting all kinds of puck pressure on the net. And we're back to that initial game plan where Gray was putting pressure. Red's starting to struggle a little bit now. And Kershane, 2-on-1 opportunity. Kershane battling that stick. Great defensive play by Kane Hadfield, and he keeps Kershane at bay. Kershane looking to be a little bit deadly there. He could have had an opportunity to make that pass. Hadfield had nothing to do it. And he steers the cross. Lamont now, that shot sailing wide, but you just got to think that Lamont is gaining confidence as this goes. You can see him really starting to find his stride here in Martensville. We do want to apologize at this time. We're getting a little bit of choppy video as we iron out some details in this new facility. We're currently working on the fix, but stay with us. Exciting this second period, much more balanced between both squads. Red a little tentative in the first. Adjustments made, and we're now starting to see some of their speed coming up. And Kahovic getting that pass in front. Hudson Gran, he's another one of those guys we want to keep an eye on. Hudson Gran, of course, those of you familiar with the Saskatoon League, plays here in the AA. And great defensive play there by Samuel Switzer. And again, Thiel with the save, but Switzer on the play just before that, great play making sure that he took care of the body. And Thiel swallows that one up, and we're going to have ourselves another offensive face-off here for Team Gray. Just a reminder, Boston Pizza will be providing the game's Grit and Grind Awards, so stay tuned at the end of the contest to find out our 3 stars and our Grit and Grind Award, which will be awarded at every one of these contests. Thiel again, and coming out of the corner with the shot, Ryan Guest. Right now, we have to say that probably Brian Thiel, most influential player on Team Red. He's seen a lot of rubber so far, 27 shots on goal, and we're not even halfway through the game. This could be a much greater score. Thiel having a game here to start off this tournament, even though his team trails by a score 3-0. Well, like we said, Red, a much different team here in the second period. They're taking a lot better care of the puck in their own zone, and just like we see here, almost getting that odd man rush. Hubick a little unlucky there, running into that stick, and that puck cleared out, and I don't think it's going to go for icing, but it's going to give Red an opportunity to get a change, and wheeling around the net here with the centering pass to Lee. Long shot by Nolan Hubick. He needed to get off the ice, so the best way to do that, put some rubber on the net, and he's right there, pops himself in, takes care of that long change. But here we go again with Jun Lee, and he's got some speed now. Sees a cross ice pass, and Lee making the zone, get that puck right on the stick of Beckett Fordham, and Fordham's shot is blocked by Thiel, but he's unable to contain the rebound, and play continues. But Red now with a dangerous opportunity here. Red, what a stop! Right into the glove of Micah Polinsky. That's probably Red's most dangerous opportunity there, and Quinn Partington who is starting to find a little bit of his offensive touch here. But again, Michael Polinsky just snapping the leather, great positioning, good glove position. I'm not a goaltender coach, but I would say his goalie coach has got to be pretty happy with that stop. And he turns aside, and now we're going to see at the midpoint here, Thiel is going to come off, and Gunnar Yachishin now in net for Team Red. Thiel with an amazing 24 stops, actually 26 stops here. Pardon me, my math a little off here today. 26 stops before coming off, and now Gunnar Yachishin is in net. And that pass not picked up on the stick, and it'll go for an icing. And so Yachishin will be joined by his teammates down there with another offensive face-off for Team Gray. And we're going to get a familiar Cardinal and Kershane here. These guys matching up a couple times already for the face-offs. Most of it going to Kershane. And once again, Kershane with the face-off draw. Oh, Team Red got away probably with the one there. And play continues. Maybe a good break for Red. And now Red with the opportunity to come up. And Partington, who was lucky not to get two, seizing the opportunity, and he is down there. Let's see if Red can keep the pressure on that they had in the early part of this game. No scoring in this second period so far, which is likely to the delight of Connor Middleton, the coach. And I'm sure the messaging was, is make sure you take care of that puck in your own zone before we can get anything going offensively. We got to counter that punch of the Grays' masterful forecheck, and we've already seen much more of Team Red here. Shot on net by Blair again, and that's steered aside by Polinsky, pardon me, and shot off the net. What a save in that sequence. The puck goes off the net, and Schmier saving a goal and keeping the slate clean here for Team Gray. But that was very dangerous for Team Red, and Red, you get the sense that they just keep this process to keep working and getting those pucks funneled to the net. It's going to pay off, but that time Team Gray coming up big, and even though he's not going to get credit for it, Carter Schmier with the stop. And that's what you want from your defenseman as a goaltender. If that puck gets past you, if you've got that D-man, and we're going to get probably a nice pat on the stick at the end of the game here, Polinsky. But Red really kind of starting to assert themselves offensively, using their speed, and this is a good sequence here, just maintaining contact and possession of the puck. Sometimes that's all you have to do. Keep that puck logged in the offensive zone, and we did not see this in the first period. This was all Gray, and now I would have to say that Red with more of the dangerous opportunities here. And they do say, and we watched this during the whole playoffs in the NHL, that 3-0 lead is probably one of the worst leads to have. The danger of sitting back, nursing a 3-goal lead, and we're maybe seeing a little bit of that with some life here with Red. And that shot in his first save of the afternoon. And oh, that puck lands right on the stick of Kane Hadfield. And Gray picking right up where they left off. The goal about RJ Livingston, his second point of the game, to go with this assist. Livingston with the goal at the 13-14 mark of the period. That's a tough start for Gunnar Yachishin. He made that initial stop, he wasn't quite able to gather the rebound, and Gray just relentless with this offensive pressure, and they're now up 4-0. But got to hand it to the coaches and the players on Team Red. They are not handing in the towel, and they've had probably the better opportunities here. Just a great sequence of events, and a wonderful centering shot, or centering pass, pardon me, and a wide open net for that fourth goal. And as I said, that's a goal and assist for Livingston. And once again, coming up the ice, Team Red, some of the bigger players now, Nolan Hubick. And a little bit of pushback, some offensive pressure here to 4 players in there trying to dig that puck out, and it looks like Hubik comes out with it. And Mantika now finds his D partner, and they reverse the puck. And we'll see if Gray gets it out of the zone, but Red, good pushback here. That could be a backbreaker, that 4-0 goal, and Red isn't seeing it that way. They are looking. We'll see if we get a stretch pass. And there's a touch on there, waves off the icing, and out comes Polinsky, and he leaves it to his defenseman who reverse it around the net, and we'll see if they can get a clear. And Schmier now looking up ice, and he is able to find a puck off the stick, though, of Case and Featherstone. Featherstone scoring a goal in that first period, looking for more.
Scored by number 12, RJ Livingston, assisted by number 10, Kane Hatfield.
And now Team Red, Levi Barber, making a smart decision, gets it over to his partner, cool as a cucumber, looking at getting that puck out. But Gray, with some neutral zone pressure, and they now looking dangerous again. And that puck, looking like Carter Schmier unable to corral that, and now Red making the zone. And fans may be looking for a penalty on that one. Look, they're going to let that go and let him play. And now comes Jun Lee. And Lee with a shot. Amazing, just picks that corner. Jun Lee making something out of nothing. That's amazing. That's his second goal of the game. Just a beautiful quick release snapper. And I think that caught Gunnar Yachishin. It wasn't quite set. And Lee capitalizing on a great opportunity, making something happen for himself. And he finds the score sheet again. That's his second of the game at the 15:28 mark. And Red right back at it again, though. They want to get on the scoreboard themselves. And getting in now, putting a little bit of pressure, is number 13, Reed Kahovic. And Gray, their breakout has been fantastic here, providing that great outlet pass, and they're getting good looks every time they get into the zone. Red seem to be on their heels with that pressure, and now Gray, this seems to be the hallmark early in this tournament, getting that pressure and then just sustaining it. And now we've got a little break for Red, and finding the side of the net there, backhand Carson Lamotte. And he's doing everything he can to keep his team in this, and 5-0 game so far early in this, and now we've got a high shot at that initial shot and that success by Lee. They're now going high, seeing if they can find similar success, and that was Fordham Beckett with the shot just over the net. And now Gray, having started off a little slow in that second period, resuming just quickly in short order, bringing that score now back up to 5-0, and it's back into taking a little bit of the wind out of the sails. Great pass here, moving in, and a good solid defensive play snuffs that out. Eli Mantika, and it looked like a set of threes there. Levi Barber looking to have a little bit of room, but it was Mantika in with the play, separating him from the puck, and an easy out for Gray. A little bit of pressure again here. Hubik in the corner, and Hubik looking to come out with it. He's won a couple of those scrums, but he doesn't win this one. And Mantika with a good pass out. And you just see the momentum gained by Team Gray with those amazing outlet passes. And a big hit there. And everything seems to be going all Gray right now. Red just looking to see if they can get out of this period, maybe salvage a little bit out of this first experience. And of course, they're going to have 2 more games in the round robin before we get into that medal round later on tomorrow. And as the games go on, some of this chemistry, and we're looking at some of the speed that Red and their players bring to this, hopefully we'll see a little bit of that developing as the weekend goes. Team Gray already look like they've been playing 5 or 6 games together. They just seem to be on pace here. Very strong at all facets of the game at the moment. And here we go again. Puck's coming up. Livingston, one of the goal scorers, bringing that puck out. Good play by Red, though. These kids they play elite hockey all year, and so a 5-0 lead or a 1-0 lead, they're still going to apply themselves equally. And this tournament's still very young, so there's tons of hockey left. And it's great to see Red still plugging along. Let's see Hubick. Don't forget, it was 3-0, and that puck went off the post and almost in for Red. And this could have been a different second period, but Gray just steady as they go, keeping everything to the outside. Oh, and a huge hit. We're seeing some Team Red's Cohen Kershane. Maybe a little bit of frustration there, finding a great opportunity, and he makes his presence known. If you're going to have that puck and maybe a little bit of that, great save there. Gunnar Yashishin just kicked that pad out. Another great save. He's got a fast pad there. Boy, he gets down that butterfly quick. And, you know, hard to come in there mid-period, and that high-quality scoring chance that came his way, can't fault him on that, and he wisely gets on there, gets the stop, and gets a little breathing room with 24 seconds left. This again, we've got Witherspoon Realty looking to buy or sell a home. We've got you covered. Since 2009, our award-winning team has been helping clients navigate every step of their real estate journey with confidence. Recognized by Realty Executives International as one of the top 20 producing real estate agents worldwide, ranked number 2 in Canada for most homes sold. Once again, game day sponsor, Witherspoon Realty. 13 seconds left, and Gray just constantly pouring on that pressure. Thomas McFarlane, he picks up the goal. And it's tough to vault goaltenders on these ones. They are down set and just not able to pick up that guy in the crease. And McFarlane with the easy tap in. And with 10.6 seconds to go, Jun Lee and Team Gray with a commanding 6-0 head start. Kershane, we're going to see him, I think, exercising a little bit of his physicality and a frustrating start for Team Red, but not without some chances there. 6-0 is the score here after the second period, and we'll get you that period summary shortly. Boston Pizza at UMH-68. Boston Pizza have been providing incredible support, not only for their fueling our players with meals in the banquet, but they're also keeping our coaches energized as the game goes along. We want to recognize our national UMH-68 sponsors, BioSteel. Between hockey practices, tournaments, and road trips, staying hydrated is a must. And now it's easier than ever with BioSteel Variety Pack at Costco Canada. 24 bottles, 3 top flavors, and 0 sugar. It's a no-brainer for hockey families. Stock the garage, fridge, keep the kids game ready, and feel good about what they're drinking. BioSteel, your platinum sponsor. I don't know whether he's got second period summary. For the majority of the period, we didn't see too much going on. Red really taking it early stages, but then Gray turning the tide. And at the 13-14 mark, RJ Livingston finds the back of the net, assisted by Kane Hadfield. And then a little over 2 minutes later, at the 15-28 mark, Jun Lee, with the early tournament lead in goals, gets his second of the game after a nice feed by the defenseman Carter Schmier. Lee with that quick release snapshot, finding the top of the net. And then right as the period came to an end at the 1950 mark, Thomas McFarlane joined in on the scoring, with Zach Murkowski tallying another point in this game. McFarlane with the tap-in goal, and Jun Lee with his third point too. A pair of trios for Team Gray, with Markowski with his third of the tournament, and Jun Lee with his third point, 2 goals and an assist. And we see that 6-0 after the
Why I think these players are drawn to events like this and sometimes drawn to me and my message is because I've been in their skates before. You know, I've truly have. I've been that player that wants to play at the highest level. I've won the gold medal. I've been drafted to the NHL. You know, I've played games in the NHL, but I think where my story stops, I want these guys' stories to continue. I mean, I played 41 games in the NHL, which is phenomenal, and I'm super proud of that, but I wanted it to be more. And now looking back on what my career was, I know that there's intangibles there that I wasn't taking advantage of. And now to be able to use that experience, that firsthand knowledge, not only from my on-my-ice knowledge and perspective, but now the off-ice awareness of what I was missing, to provide that whole package to these players to help them on their own journeys is something that's really inspiring to me. Touch points that a lot of these tournaments aren't doing is really putting the player first. And that was the one thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a player first experience, a top level player first experience. Give them something that's not only going to make them better on the ice, but make them better off the ice, and allow them to leave this tournament not just with, hey, I got some goals and I got some assists, but with some powerful messaging that's going to help them moving forward. So better humans, I say, make better hockey players, and that's really a message that was driven home really clearly from the scouts, from the coaches, from myself, and what Up My Hockey is. And that's the truth of it. And that's the thing, that the players, the quicker they understand that, not only are they better adapted in their own communities, but they are going to have much longer careers, a much better chance of making it. In our own way at the U15 level, I made that dressing room experience be something special for these players. They walked in and we used the sponsors that were available, like BioSteel and like Nature's Fair, the organic grocer here, and some of these places that wanted these players to have this experience, and tape was available for them. You know, bananas, oranges, apples were there, unlimited BioSteel, sweat towels. You know, like the small details that doesn't maybe seem like much, but the devil is in the details, and the players notice that, and the jerseys are hung, and the nameplates are on there, and made them feel like pros.
So 3, 2, 1, and then what? All right, welcome back here in the second intermission, and we're joined by Tynan from Focus Goaltending, and he's here this weekend working with players. You know, we're minding the net, and we see a lot of activity already with the goaltenders. Tynan, what brings you to the event? How did you find out about coming to this?
Yeah, we just got contacted by some local guys. Hugh is the contact here, and worked lots with him. So he presented this opportunity, so we thought it'd be good to get out and help out this program and give the kids a little bit more things to work on for future development.
Okay, and of course we're going to see the on-ice product during the course of the games, but there's a lot of stuff going on after, behind the scenes. Tell me a little bit about the sessions that you're leading with them and what you're working with our 8 goaltenders.
Yeah, we got to do a good on-ice session where we got to work on some things that they've probably worked on before, and maybe give them some new things that they can take away from here, go work on their game. We did a little classroom workshop as well. And I'm out here evaluating some games to give them a little report on, hey, these are the things you're doing good, and here's some things that you can improve on to make your game better.
Perfect. What are some things that you would suggest to them during the off season? Like here in the summer, we're almost into lake season. What are some ways that a goaltender can kind of keep themselves sharp, or is it a good time to just check out, go fishing, and ride the wakeboard?
The summer is usually the time where, in our business, it's the skill development portion. How do we get your skills better? there's going to be other guys that you're going to want to do your weight training and get your strength up. There's going to be other guys that are doing the mental part of it. There's going to be the nutrition part, the sleep part, but we're definitely focused on the goalie skills part, right? So how do you increase your skills so that you can take that to the ice and be better in your practices, be better in your games?
Perfect. If you think about 12-year-old Tynan, you know, as a goaltender when you were here, and we've got a lot of 12 and 13-year-olds at the tournament, what would you be excited about coming into an experience like this?
Yeah, I mean, for this, you want to learn from as many people as you can. That's the big thing. Okay? Take all the information, what's going to help you to be a better player, goaltender, for down the road. The hockey's a journey for everybody, and the more help you can get to do that, the easier that journey gets, because it's a difficult journey.
Put yourself in the head. I mean, we've seen two different strategies here in terms of how we're going to cycle the goalie. Obviously, we're going to go for equal play here. How hard is it to come in midway through a game like we saw there with Team Red?
Yeah, that's a tough one. He gets a couple of quick shots that were pretty good opportunities. So yeah, that's the mental side of the game. Can you get your body prepared, your mind prepared to get in there and take those opportunities right away? So it's definitely tougher than having the warm up and having the start that you're normally used to, because most guys aren't coming in halfway through a game in a regular season or a playoff game if they don't need to, right?
And you know, early, like, this is a really tough, you know, building chemistry. A lot of times these guys are just meeting for the very first time. Would you say it's pretty strong that, you know, that goalie bond is kind of universal? So even though you don't know this kid, it's...
Yeah, we hope so. You try to be kind to everybody. It's not always, but definitely I think in these situations, most people are wanting to do well for themselves and their goalie partner, right? So, I mean, ultimately you're trying to win and beat the other team and he gave you away, but on the ice yesterday at the goalie session, it wasn't just Team Red versus Team Grey. They were all talking and learning about each other and learning their craft and their game. So that was good to see that camaraderie there. There is the goalie union that people talk about, that it is pretty special, and it's good to see it even at this age in Saskatchewan, that these goalies come from all over and are part of that already. So it's pretty cool.
What are some of the summer plans for you, for Focus Goaltending? Do you guys have?
For us, we are busy. We do goalie camps, we do high performance stuff, we do private training, one-on-one. So summer's jam-packed with us, with goalies of all different levels, all the way up to NHL goaltenders. So yeah, we're going full out in a couple weeks here to get everybody ready for next season. So.
Oh, for sure. Now, we're early in the competition phase. We still got another, basically 2 more days here. At the end of this experience, what are some takeaways that you want the boys to have when they have, you know, what do you want them to remember about what you've done?
Yeah, we're going to give them a little report, and that'll give them an opportunity to have some things where they're going to see things that they're good at, things that they need to improve upon. So take that away, go back to wherever they're from, get to work, get working on those things, improve those things so that their game can improve, and it's just that process over and over and over throughout many years.
Awesome. Once again, this is Tynan from Focus Goaltending. Thanks for making time this weekend with us, and for the influence you have on the boys. All the best, and we're looking forward. We're really enjoying the goaltender game here today. So.
Thanks for having us.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying. I mean, they're under siege a bit, but that Thiel kid, he, you know, pretty steady guy, and then loving the lower pad work that we're seeing from his back up here. This is awesome.
Looks like they're gonna put the other guy.
Okay, yeah.
I told him I'm only here for morning to evaluate, so it's like, well, if he doesn't go, he doesn't get evaluated.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that'll be good.
Yeah, 37. And we're just waiting for the start of this second period.
Yeah, we're not on yet.
I'm off?
Yeah, I'll give you a line.
Sure. I'll talk just to fill space, and then if you're like, oh, you're not on, then... All right, we're about ready ready for puck drop here to start third period. Obviously, it's a 6-0 game, but this is a development tournament, and we'll be looking to see both teams really. It's, you know, Ken kind of talked about this being 0-0, and right off the get-go, Red in there for a quick shot, and it looks like we have a new goaltender in. This is now Noah Eben, and he is in now for Team Gray. Hopefully, and right off the get-go, he's seeing a couple of pucks coming his way. Eben playing out of Slave Lake, Alberta, and one of our Alberta players that have made the trek here. Slave Lake, of course, just a little bit west of Red Deer, and he's getting his first taste of action here. And right off the start, just like they started in the second period, Red really deciding that they're going to take it, and Eben solid to start, and he picks up that face-off, and we get a line change here, and out comes Lee and Livingston and Hadfield, and Jun Lee just having himself a game to start already. 2 goals and an assist, and he'll be looking to add to that. And Hubick coming in, Nolan Hubick, he had a fairly decent start, winning a couple of scrums there, and he gets a clean draw. How important is that when you want to keep that pressure on Team Gray? You don't want them getting into your offensive zone, because once it's in there, and we'll watch it here, they are ruthless on the forecheck. And we're going to get a Hubick out, and he's got himself almost a chance, keeping his stick active there. Really great edge control, and that looked like that was Boston Unser, and he's ready to pull the trigger. Red still putting that pressure on, and that strategy working early on in that second period, not allowing Gray to set themselves up. And let's see if we can make a good pass out of the zone. And just a really heads-up play here. Looks like Hadfield, and he just gets upended over top of the stick there, and that's probably a good non-call there. That was a great defensive play on both parts, and Unser now works his way back up the ice, and Boston Unser, just some pressure from the D, and he's not able to get a good clean look there, but he does get a shot attempt on the way, and that puck now shot into the corner. Gray with the change, and right off the get-go, another one of Gray's workhorses, and you're going to hear his name a lot, Jacoby Cardinal. He's all over the score sheet here as well. Big pass in front, and like we saw, that quick glove, and it's a great save by Gunnar Yachishin. And just like we were talking with Tynan there, his impact on the goaltenders, these kids are constantly honing their craft, and we've seen some great positional play from our goaltenders to start this game off. In a game where you've got 37 shots, so now we're almost into we're going to be over 40 here, with barely 40 minutes at a shot a minute. Yeah, I mean, it sucks to get scored on, but as far as goaltenders in a development, Red goalies having a great opportunity to showcase their skill set. One of the things that we're seeing here with Gunnar Yachishin, just amazing butterfly play, that quick glove, new tool that he has been able to show us as well. And now a break back up the ice again. This is Carter Schmier. And Schmier, just a steady defenseman. He is one of those defenders able to put great outlet passes, which Gray has been developing throughout the process of this game. Gray's breakout and their ability to get pressure and numbers on Red has allowed them to set up that great forecheck. But Red, with the counterpunch, getting that puck inside, still yet to see a big test for Noah Eben. But already I'm sure he's happy to get a couple of early touches in this game just to get a feel for the puck. And we are going to see a face-off. Looks like Hudson Gran, the Saskatoon product, lining up against Lee. And we're going to give that one to Lee with the face-off win. And taking a good look here, Lamotte from Team Red, Carson Lamotte. And he's got himself a puck with a shot on net. And there's the first tough save probably. He's squared up, great save by Noah Eben. But Lamotte, you can just tell he's ready, using that big frame of his to separate guys from the puck and then become a danger offensively. And we'll watch him throughout the tournament. Fantastic play just to make an opportunity come out of nothing. Puck now down back to the point at Xavier Turin, and Turin gets that puck into that danger zone, and Red was able to get that puck inside the slot area, just unable in that second period to get that final stick that Gray's enjoyed. And look at that great box out there in front. Big slap shot and just catches the arm of Eben, but again, just like in the second period, Red putting in some pressure. Hudson Grand showing his slapper, and that had that top post picked off, but Eben just able to shrug his shoulder, and we got another face-off here, and looks like that familiar Cardinal Kershane, or it was Kershane, and Kershane has owned the face-off dot when he is there. It was Hubick with the draw, and that puck now coming down low. And here comes the Gray, that great forecheck, beautiful pass in front. Hadfield an extra swipe at it at the end. Oh, and yeah, goaltender looking for a call there. He's probably not going to get it, but Gunnar Yachishin, great solid play, and that's, you know, good positional goaltending. He had his stick down, his pad stack, multiple layers. That puck wasn't getting through. Probably why that extra swap at it, and that drew his ire a little bit. Be nice to see a little fire out of Yachishin, see if he's got a bit of a mean streak there, but he held fort, and once again, just fantastic play. No rebound on that at all, smothers it. But Gray swarming early in this tournament. You can see probably Jason Gordon and the Parkland Maulers, their coach. He's really got a team with great forecheck. They're combining fantastic forecheck with that amazing outlet pass system. This is making them very effective, and we can see that on the goal differential here, 6-0 goal score. But remember, this is early in the tournament, and these teams are still building on some chemistry. It looks like Gray already picking up that chemistry there. And that's going to cause a penalty, some great pressure, and we get a goal. Just that constant pressure by Gray and the delayed penalty. And once again, RJ Livingston, that's his second goal of the tournament. Elite Prospects, for youth hockey players, Elite Prospects is your very own online showcase to highlight your achievements and help secure future playing opportunities. Coaches, scouts, and schools at every level of the game consider Elite Prospects their one-stop shop to discover. And after that goal, Red goes right back to work here, looking for that first goal of the tournament for themselves. And Gray, just with that amazing outlet pass system, they just seem to be bringing numbers. And in that case, it was only 2 Gray, but 2 against 4. Gray always seems to, the ice seems slanted. And once again, another spot. And there's a little bit of fire this time from Red. You want to see that from your player. Let the goalie get in there too. But Quinn Partington, not too happy about that extra activity around his goaltender. He knows Gunnar Yachishin is digging in and is under siege. And Partington, what a great player there. Just take care of his goaltender, and he plants the Gray guy. And we're going to get an offensive zone. We all love to see that with these 12 and 13-year-olds. We're going to get a penalty, a set of penalties here. And we're still with 5-on-5, but the referee's deciding that they're just going to let some cooler heads take command and let the game continue to be focused on the game itself. So we're going to have some 5-on-5 action. Matching penalties handed out at the end of this play. And Red, let's see if we get a headman here. We're going to get a breakaway here. And Red, what a goal! And Red's on the board. Beautiful. Hudson Grand. He had a guy in front of him, and he was like, no, I'm carrying the mail on this one, and I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. Hudson Grand with probably the goal of the game so far. Beautiful. No chance for Eben. And Red's on the board. You knew he was going to have that breakout there. And you love to see that as a goal scorer. You get that opportunity, and now Red, we'll see if that provides him a spark. What a shot. And Red with little inspired play. Gray, that forecheck, they've really commanded all 3 zones here in this game so far. But Red, you got to admire, there is still a lot of fight there, and they've got a long weekend ahead of them. They've got lots to prove here, and that was a little bit of a nod to that, you know, you might be up on us on the score clock, and there's Lamont now, and he too, look at that, with the shot and the clear. And Red, that goal, as I'm seeing Red, they are ready. Maybe that came a little bit, you saw that earlier, a few plays before, where Gray was a little flagrant with their goaltender, and you had Quinn Partington with that shot, and maybe that was the spark they needed, just a little bit of fight going, no, you know what, you're controlling that aspect of the game, but we're not rolling over, and then suddenly the puck's in the back of the net, and Red's on the board. And you love to see that, a little bit of a pushback, and let's see if they can build on that momentum. And a shot from Point Brio, and that's steered aside by Gunnar Yushishin, and Red now with numbers. And we're gonna see, you got nothing to lose here, down trailing by 6. Make a play, get a little space, and see whether you can put a couple more up on the board here before the end of the game. Get yourselves ready for that second game, which will be happening later this afternoon and evening. And once again, the referee's done a really good job here allowing them to just play and showcase their talents rather than making it a special teams affair. And puck now centered there by Levi Barber, but that comes to nothing. And here we go, another opportunity, a puck cleared in there, and Team Green's done a great job, Team Gray, just keeping that puck out of the danger zone that time. Colton Brio providing that stick, that active stick, keeping that pass, but Red continuing to use this as an opportunity to showcase. Huge shot from the point, steered aside, and that shot coming off the stick of Xavier Turin. And Red starting to look with a little bit more confidence, and here we go again. And this is Grand with the puck on his stick again, and he puts that puck on, and even with a little bit of trouble on that rebound, with the trailer almost had a chance, just a little bit out of his range. And now moving in, it looks like Kubik, and he rallies again while we get back on side. And what a treat here. We're gonna start seeing Red, another shot, Eben coming in, figuring, hey, this is a 6-0 game, and it's been anything but easy for him. Red just deciding that we've had enough, and we're gonna start to exert. And you're seeing some of that speed now, and here comes Kershane. And we saw him start laying the body a little bit late in that period, and we're expecting that he might start imposing his will on this game too. And Partington and Kershane now, Red enjoying some success with the forecheck. We haven't really been able to see that sustained Gray pressure. Other than those 2 goals in there, Red really starting to speed this game up, and maybe that's where the opportunities are going to lie. Now we're starting to see more end-to-end action, where early in the game we were under siege. And with the touch pass, McFarland's now in, and Red with the good back check, and up comes Lamont. Carson Lamont, playing out of Foothills Bisons out of Milo, Alberta. And he gets the change, and out comes Red's defenders. And once again, Gray's got numbers coming across the zone. And that puck just off the defender, caroms off the glass. And we're now starting to see some open 3-on-1 here for Red. Lamont, lots of time. Oh, and that just could corral that, but we're starting to see that, you know, you're down by 6. You got to make something happen here, and Red starting to see a little bit of movement. Maybe they take some of that momentum. Whoa! Huge contact. And we said Kershane looking to exert his influence on that, and he is going to get the gate. And Lamont kind of questioning, you know, sometimes it's big guy versus little guy, and especially in U13, we're going to see, and I guess we're in the U14 format here, there's some big differences between the sizes and heights of these players. He might have been a little unlucky there. When you're that size, though, sometimes that elbow or that shoulder gets into that head area, and that's probably the reflection in the call. But good to see Kershane using his his size to separate the puck, and we're going to see more of that as the tournament goes along. Sometimes you got to absorb those, and Red, right off the get-go, this is their first penalty kill, and an aggressive forecheck there, looking like Reed Kahovic going in there. And now Gray showing us their power play just to see what they can generate here, and Kershane setting up, and Kahovic all over this penalty kill at the moment, and they get a clear for Red. And Gray setting themselves back up again here, settling things down in the neutral zone. We'll see if they can get themselves a rush with numbers again. Oh, almost turned over, and that could have been going the other way for Red, and Brio here on the defenseman, and he drops it off for Fordham. Fordham right over the net. He may have had some room there as their goaltender dropped fairly quickly. Fordham wishing he probably had that shot opportunity again. And that puck steered across or into the corner by Gunnar Yachishin. A little under a minute left in this Gray power play. Red looking pretty good with their penalty kill. Maybe that's because they've been under pressure. And here comes Gran again. He gets inside. And Gran, oh, great defensive play. Showcase the speed of Gran. Oh, a little frustration there. Gran had the drop on him, but he's gonna get a penalty, probably for a little bit of a stick infraction afterwards. And you can tell, I mean, it's a frustrating time. You get yourself a break, a little moment elapse. He'll shake that one off though and make himself available to his team in 2 minutes time. And we're gonna see a 5-on-3 for probably another 25 seconds here. And Red having a lot of experience playing their own zone. They're looking quite comfortable with the penalty kill, but that 5v3 format going to be pretty tough, and especially when it's Jun Lee working there. Now, Olesko captaining that up at the top. Lee cycling it down into the corner. There we see some good puck movement here. There's no rush. I know that there's always that 5-on-3 tendency to think you're going to score and then maintain that power play, but Gray settling it right in. Lee with a great feed inside. And Olesko up, and that signals the end of the first penalty kill. And once again, great work by Gunnar Yachishin. There is no rebound activity going on there. So important on the PK, gets your second set out. Iron Ghost Construction is a platinum sponsor at the national level, providing, recognized as a top contractor in multiple industries like oil and gas, forestry, and agriculture. We welcome Iron Ghost Construction, your national UMH-68 sponsor. Thanks again for your support of this weekend. And back to the power play, and Lee patiently looking. Great coverage there by the PK unit from Team Red. They are not providing any opportunity for a cross-ice pass, and they get the clear. Mantika able to corral that puck. And now Gray looking to reset themselves with a minute to go. And that puck stripped. And Kershane in. And a goal! Short-handed effort. Just a great play by number 16, and that's Cohen Kershane. And Team Red making a statement here, moving forward. Kershane, that was all him as the lone forechecker on the PK. He makes something happen, and we get our first shorthanded, actually our first special teams goal of the tournament. And it happens to be a shorty. Compliments of Cohen Kershane from Fort Saskatchewan, playing in the Alberta Elite Hockey League, and he came to showcase his skills. Just an impressive play, and maybe a little bit more of that aggressiveness from the Team Red. We saw a penalty assessed after a flagrancy in the thing where we, you know, Red showing a little bit of fire after protecting their goaltender. It resulted in the Gran goal, and then Gran goes out and gets a penalty, and out they go again. Maybe that's the key, that Red needs to put a guy in the box, and then the response after the guy goes in the box keeps them in just a little bit offside there. But great to see Red rebounding here. 7-2 And with time winding down, and there's a lot more energy on that bench there. Those kids in red, lots of glove taps, heads held high. They're going to be exciting to watch as this tournament continues too. And they're not done yet. We've still got a fair amount of time to play, and we're still in the penalty. And there, we're now starting to see some bodies go. And Lamont, he had a collision there. Puck in front and almost finds its way into the net. Team Red maybe looking at a little bit of fire perhaps stemming from some penalties being picked up, and Gran back out on the ice again. Remember, he had the breakaway and a little bit of frustration there. Otherwise, that could just as easily have turned around, and Gran not quite able to get his footing there, and he gets a weaker shot on net, but still Eben had to make the save and be sharp. There were guys in and around the crease area. Red enjoying a little bit of success now, and we'll see if that translates into a couple more good solid scoring chances here. We came to see some fairly even hockey, and other than a couple of blips there, you know, we're starting to see a little bit more confidence going, and just another shot on net. That one coming from the point. Drennan Blair just being a solid there. Another shot on from the point, and Blair. And we're seeing some sustained pressure now from Red, and Team Red deciding and realizing that they've got a role to play here, and that coming a lot from the offensive powerhouse of Gran and his skating. And in comes Gray again, and another nice pad stop, courtesy of Gunnar Yashishin. 47 shots on goal by Team Gray. That's got to be one of the big stories of this particular game. 33 is not a bad total from the Red side either, but just the level of intensity that Gray has brought, especially early on in the game where they just flooded the zone. And now we got another odd man rush here. Puck on the stick of Gran. He's looking for that top corner again, and this time Eben comes out the better on that one. Really great showdown between Eben and Gran looking for another repeat of that previous goal and wasn't able to get there. Elite Prospects is the gold sponsor of our event here. Elite Prospects for serious hockey fans. Crazy about the NHL, the draft, and your team's top prospects. No better place, no better source than EP Rinkside, providing insight and analysis on players worldwide. Just under almost 4 minutes to go in this first of 10 games. Oh, that almost, great timing there. Almost finds it on the stick of RJ Livingston. He's already all over this score sheet looking for more. He could have had a hat trick perhaps. Two players poised, Jun Lee and Livingston, both with 2 goals in the tournament in goal scoring. But it's the speed of Red now starting to come out, and we're starting to see a lot more confidence. And maybe sometimes, you know, when you've got nothing to lose, you find that element of your game, and that's something that they can build off of for this evening when they take on round 2. And if this is any indication, the skill level that we're seeing already this early on in the tournament, we are in for some amazing U13. I keep saying U13 because we're really there, but it's U14. We've seen some amazing talent here, and these boys are starting to find their stride as they start to see the patterns their teammates are playing. Of course, such a team-based event early in the game, it's a little hard to build up on that momentum, but Red now starting to really gel with these lines, and just they're going to be fun to watch. Gray, of course, they came out already almost like they were seasoned. And that comes with its challenges too. They may have already set themselves in, and we might have seen the best of what Gray is able to offer. Certainly they came, and we know that they've got some skill when we bring guys like Lee and RJ Livingston in. But if we're watching some progression here, I'm saying Red is going to be something to watch here in these next 2 games. I'm looking forward to those. We're down into the last 3 minutes of this contest, and we've got ourselves a face-off draw. Lee taking on Grant, 2 very similar type players. Lee, of course, just an amazing shot, probably the 2 nicest goals in this game. The rest of them being somewhat tap-ins, but Grant's goal and Lee's goal, where, you know, quick release, perfectly picked spot on the net. You could put them side by side right now and you'd have a little bit of a challenge on which were the two nicest goals scored. Just pure offensive talents, and it'll be fun watching them. And now we've got a break again, and Lee, of course, that puck just naturally on his stick, and we're gonna get a penalty here at the 2:25 mark, and it looks like Lee will be heading to the box in red, looking at an opportunity to build on their 2-goal performance here in the second period. Up My Hockey is the gold sponsor for this. Up My Hockey is proud to support the next generation of athletes by awarding the Sidney Crosby Award recipients with scholarships for mindset coaching with former NHLer Jason Podolin. Build confidence, strengthen your mindset, take your game to the next level. Just a reminder, we're going to have our player awards at the conclusion, just like we will for every game. We're going to have the Games Grit Grind Award, which is a $30 gift certificate from Boston Pizza, and that'll be awarded, and the Ritchie Brothers 3-Star Awards. And Ritchie Brothers will be providing gift certificates to sporting goods stores, I believe, and we'll see those. So 4 players will be recognized at the end of that, so stick around on the broadcast. We'll see that, and then we're going to take a short break, and then we will see the other 2 games, or the other 2 teams in their first games here to wind down the morning frame of the game. And Lamont now, remember Red, whoa, that almost took the head off of Eben, and he came down, but that was a really quick release from Lamont. We haven't seen a lot of him in open ice, and that was an amazing shot, just a little too high here, and we're getting down to minute 35, and they're going to round out almost the rest of the game with Red, and they're going to have a 5-on-3. We saw earlier a 5-on-3 for Gray. Now it's Red's turn. As I mentioned, the Games Grit and Grind Awards are going to be presided by Weatherspoon Realty, the sponsor for that. Looking to buy or sell a home, we've got you covered. Since 2009, our award-winning team has been helping clients navigate every step of their real estate journey with confidence. Recognized by Realty Executives International as a top 20 producing real estate agent. Thanks again to Weatherspoon Realty. They are your Games Grit and Grind Award winner, and we got a shorty in a game that's seen 2 shorthanded goals. Livingston, and that actually was McFarland Thomas, I think, or Thomas McFarland. We haven't seen a power play goal, but we've seen 2 shorthanded goals. And we'll wind down to that final 117, making a really strong case for himself. Thomas McFarland with the goal on the shorthanded, the Sherwood Park product. And once again, into the zone on the power play, Corin Korchinski, or pardon me, Corin Korchain. He already has a goal, providing the other goal, and now a good look, and Eben squared up, and he got himself in a good position, leaving nothing there. We're down into 51 seconds to go in this first period. And once again, just a reminder, stick around for the Weatherspoon Realty Games Grit and Grind Award and the Ritchie Brothers 3 Stars. And that puck cleared, and chasing it down, Samuel Switzer. And Switzer now, lots of time, and he is going to take it. Headmanning that puck up to Korchain. Korchain now looking to make a move, comes into the inside. And double clutches there. He might have been good to have taken that first shot, but he didn't see what he wanted and wisely hung on to it, gets the offensive zone face-off. And just like we saw in the second period, both teams not willing to, wind things down. Team Gray, as you remember, scored with 10 seconds to go in that second period. Maybe Red has a little bit of that last-second heroics. And what we're seeing here is Team Gray, and a good spirited effort coming up there. Pass in front, big save. Clutch save by Gunnar Yachishin, and he's come in halfway through the game. He and Thiel, 50 shots on goal, and Yachishin showing no signs of rust, having sat on the bench for the first half, and that's a huge stop on that, or we would have seen a second shorthanded goal there. Goaltending featuring quite heavily here, especially for Red, with all those given chances to start, and now Unser down, and that long pass didn't quite get any connection, and now we get numbers with Red, and that winds it up here. Game number 1 in the books. Team Gray by a score of 8-2, with Team Red's tallying 2, including a shorthanded goal, maybe finding their footing there as the game winds down. We're going to take a bit of a break, and then we're going to have our awards. And of course, we're going down to ice level, and we're going to get the names of those award winners here right away.
Are you guys announcing?
Yeah, get them on the blue line. Everyone on the blue line. You can actually announce it at teams line up on the blue line.
Just get her and announce the lineup.
Line here. Good hard fought. And we're going to have our awards handed out, and it is Hugh Hamilton, the Martensville provincial director for UMH-68, and of course Hamilton had his fair share of success as a player. He's a local organizer here in Martensville, and he'll be handing out. We'll listen for our game announcer. This is the first of the events.
We have our Grit and Grind Award. Our Grit and Grind Award is a $30 gift certificate to Boston Pizza. Our Grit and Grind
Award winner is going to Cohen Kershane. And of course, Kershane with that shorthanded goal and a couple of huge hits. And he almost had a couple of other looks at the net. Great outing for Kershane, and he gets the Grit and Grind Award for game number 1. Well deserved. Keeping his team in it,
our third
physical presence. And now we are onto the Ritchie brothers. RJ Livingston with 2 goals and an assist is the third star, the Ritchie brothers' third star, and he's receiving his award.
RJ is getting a $30 gift certificate.
And now our second star
is great, number 29, Michael.
And Michael Pawlinski, the goaltender, early faced a couple of really tough shots early in the game, and he backstopping. He is the second, not allowing a single goal in the 40 minutes that he played. And he's kind of questioning whether he got it, but you pitch a shutout there, even if it's a 2-game shutout. And Zach Markowski is the first star, the defender, and he was just, we talked a lot about that ability to kind of have that presence, and Gray, really the hallmark of that game is their ability to just own their own defensive zone, and the great breakout passes. Markowski providing much of that, and it's great to see him reward assists on the score sheet, but probably the biggest thing was settling things down for his team and just ensuring that amazing breakout, which was the hallmark of that win for Team Gray. Stay tuned, and we'll be ready for game number 2 in a couple of minutes' time.